Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rewind Rental. Today we're going to be talking about Karate Kid Part 2. It's a classic John G. Avildsen film. The sequel to the Karate Kid franchise. Not a lot of people know about it. I didn't think it was well known. However, for the best listening experience, pause this right now, go watch it, and then come back. Before I go further, we'd like to give a special thanks to our dear friend Arvin. Shout out Big Chief. He made the banner for us, our sleek new banner, which is not just our logo in black that I slaved over and made it look shit. Anyway, so the plot of the movie. So, after winning the All Valley tournament, Daniel and Miyagi, they live a life of peace. You know, Daniel finishes his senior prom year. Miyagi gets a letter from an old flame, if you will, back in Okinawa, that his father is very sick. So, you know, it wouldn't be a film if Daniel didn't tag along and, you know, was his sidekick. So Daniel and Miyagi go to Okinawa and meet Miyagi's old friend Sato, who trained alongside Miyagi in karate. Now Miyagi and Sato aren't on best terms, and it's fate on sight. You know, they don't get along well until the end of the movie, but we'll get into that. Now it's on to Callum for some money facts.
I've only got two money facts.
Great.
The budget isn't known. I couldn't find it anywhere. The opening weekend it made 12 million, and the total gross in total that it's made is 15 million, and that's in 1980s money. So in 2020 money, it has made it 282 million dollars total gross.
Very nice.
It's pretty good.
So what do we think of the movie, lads? Let's start.
I mean, as classic as the original is, I liked this one a lot more.
Oh yeah.
I think the original is better paced. I don't know. They were this one was shorter than the original. I'm pretty sure you said last night. I don't quite recall, but it felt longer to me. I don't know why. But at the same time, it's still a quick movie. It's still a really quick movie, even at almost 2 hours, I think.
I think it's 116 minutes. Oh,
hour 40.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hour 46.
Yeah, that's not bad. But it still feels like a super quick movie. It doesn't feel like it drags at any point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm inclined to disagree. I felt that a lot of it was dragging. Like
Cool.
I felt like Daniel would go around with what was the girl's name that he was with?
Miyuki, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd go around. They'd go dancing. They'd go anywhere, chop some ice, and then that one dude, the nephew of Sato, he's always there.
Chosen.
This dude literally has no life, and that just grinded my gears. He's just stalking this dude.
His life is just pissing off Daniel. He's
Chosen
Daniel.
follows him everywhere.
He's a loser. He's a massive loser.
I love that weird scene where she throws the tomato at him and he takes off his shirt and is like, add this to your collection, and throws it at her. I was like, oh, you fucking sleaze.
That was a massive Chad. He's like the biggest Chad.
He's the alpha in all of Tommy Village.
I've got a little quiz for you too. How many times do you think Japanese was spoken, as in like two people speaking Japanese to each other in like full sentences? How many times do you think?
Like none, maybe once.
No, so there was when Miyagi met his father, and his father said, if I'm sleeping, don't wake me up. If I'm awake, don't ever let me sleep. First off, made me cry. That was a very emotional scene, very powerful, very touching. Thank you, John G. Avildsen. So there was that, and I think, you know what? I can't remember. I think that was the only time.
There's 4.
That was the only time that they spoke Japanese. There's 4.
4.
Okay, so you're counting.
So seeing as you giving us this quiz, Callum, would I be inclined to say that you were distracted by the lack of Japanese in Okinawa?
Well, here's the thing. Whenever I watch a movie and like that's set in a different country, like
This is the conversation we had the other day again.
yeah, exactly. Like I was watching Red Sparrow and they like, "Oh, yes, well, we are from Russia." And I'm like, "You're not. You speak English. If you're Russian, speak Russian." So it's like if you're from Okinawa, speak Japanese. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just a little pet peeve of mine, but I don't know. I just
Because, well, I mean, I get that too. I wasn't that bad, but I brought up to Seb while I was watching it. I was like, did they set it on the like near the American military base just so they have an excuse to have more English speaking people for this American
that
film?
one scene when the taxi driver asks where they are.
Yeah.
that American base is the worst spot to put a base.
It was just
Like
just a helipad. I don't think it was the actual base.
Like they're like, "Oh, where's the village?" They're standing on it. Like, why would you put it there? Of all
But they
places you
weren't.
could have put.
They weren't.
But-
If they drove like 2 minutes and there it was.
They probably
it
could have.
was there.
They probably
They
could have
never
seen
left.
it from where they were.
They could have if they just turned their head like I'd say 90 degrees. They'd see Tommy Village, but they didn't.
There were a lot of moments in this film where it was like, yeah, this is very convenient. This is very like, oh, okay. like everything kind of slots together. If you know what I mean. Like it didn't.
Yeah.
It fits like a puzzle. Some things weren't necessary. I think some scenes could have been cut.
I think a
fair.
lot of scenes could have been cut, but then I think the final fight, I kind of want it to be longer.
Oh no, it should have been longer.
Like-
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like I wanted to see, what's the nephew's name again?
Chosen.
I wanted to see Chosen just get absolutely destroyed.
He came in on the light string. That was epic.
Yeah, and then
The fact that no one noticed it though, that was astounding.
He
Because you
didn't-
just see
he-
this man from the top of the mantle just grab on and slide down, and until he gets on the platform, someone's like, "Oh no, there he is!" Like, he's wearing bright yellow. How would you?
he
how'd you
looked
not
like
have
he
seen
looked
him?
like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah. But Daniel's I think it was like, I don't know if it was silk or if it was like, it looked like, kind of looked like scales, but it was definitely, that was a good jacket. I loved it.
It's a pretty cool jacket. I don't like to nitpick too much though on movies. I feel like I kind of like how well like the plot fits together with all its elements. I do agree that some stuff could have been cut short. Maybe not like specific scenes cut out, except for maybe a couple. I think more slightly shorten certain scenes and slightly extend others. So maybe the same length really, but just like tighten up some of the editing, I guess.
Some of the pacing
But,
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think overall I liked it a lot more than the first one. I think for me, when I like to watch martial arts movies, I like my good fights. Not to knock the tournament ending in the first one, but that's really the only major scene you get apart from all Daniel's training, which is fair enough.
What about
Hang on.
what about the bit where all the
about-
skeleton men beat the crap out of Daniel?
I know, but it's like that's not really a fight. That's just them beating.
Yeah,
the
it's
shit
still
out of Daniel.
entertaining.
Yeah, but then Mr. Miyagi comes in and assaults teenagers.
I mean, yeah, that's cool, but you know what I mean. It's not like your typical martial arts movie big fight sequence, you know,
No, not really.
because they're still kids movies in
It's
a
more
way.
it's more westernized as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
more
it
westernized,
is-
more appropriate for kids.
It is 100% a Western view of the East. Speak.
I think it wasn't. I don't think it was very very racially ambiguous. I think it was very. If it was very respectful. I didn't think it was. I didn't
Yeah,
think. I think it
I
took
think-
too
Oh,
far.
it was
I think it was respectful.
respectful, but it was like clearly how Americans see it.
Oh yeah, a small fishing village.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking of, where do you think Okinawa was filmed?
Philippines. Calling it now.
Seb?
I'm gonna guess. It's either that or maybe the Maldives. Not
Maybe-
Maldives. Like Papua New Guinea, somewhere around there. Something like that. Something with that landscape.
I reckon Thailand or Philippines.
Yeah.
One of the
Hawaii.
two. Ah, fuck. Of course it was, because it's closest to America.
Oh, actually, why didn't I recognize that?
It is American. What am I
Now
talking
that I'm
about?
seeing it, yeah, it actually makes sense.
Damn.
Oh, that's weird. Fuck.
See, I saw palm trees and I'm like, Philippines. I've seen too many Italian Italian Vietnam movies. I'm like, shut the Philippines. Gotta be.
Unfortunately, my friend, you are wrong.
Clearly.
Well, I think that's good then. They did a good thing by distracting me and not knowing, not telling me that it was, not giving it away.
I did notice the palm trees. I'm like, is there that many palm trees in Japan? I don't know.
Maybe there is, Evan. Have you been?
No, I've not. But in what I know of Japan, are there that many palm trees and that many Hawaiian, Thailandish looking beaches or coastlines in Japan?
Yeah, true.
I've only seen the urban environments. I don't know.
So how about let's address Ralph Macchio, Daniel LaRusso, the king of killing over. The amount of times he's been kicked in the stomach in these
And the
films.
balls.
And the balls. No, Miyagi's the king of the nut shots. But Daniel is constantly always kicked in the stomach and winded.
He is.
Like, it happened at the start. It happened in the first one.
Shows flies
the
out like
beach
3
scene.
times this movie and does it.
Yeah. Happened at the beach scene in the first one. I think it was somewhere in the karate tournament where they did it. And then there was here in the second one where they did... I can't remember. It was in the nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
And then he learned from Mr. Miyagi to smash him in the nuts.
I like that in the final fight, he tried to do the crane kick again, and Shon's just like, no.
Oh,
That was good. That was a really good
Got
callback.
battered.
That was. I really liked that.
Yeah. He gets in the stands, and Shon's like, nah, I'm not having this shit.
I did, because I watched a couple of clips from the newer Karate Kid.
The one with Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
From Jaden Smith ones
Yeah,
or Cobra Kai?
the Jaden Smith one.
Okay.
And comparing the karate in the two, it's like night and day. Like, the karate in the Jaden Smith one is so refined and looks uber professional. And then we're looking
Just
at
Jackie
this
Chan.
one, it's like, it's kind of just some guys flying some kicks and, it just doesn't look as crisp.
It's more loose though, because I think in the Jaden Smith one, it's more choreographed. So you can say,
it is entirely
that's more-
choreographed.
Yeah, so it's like, this can't be real. But with the Karate Kid, I found it to flow more and be more realistic. More realistic. The the stunt coordinator, I actually learned this from watching a panel for Cobra Kai. They had Ralph Macchio, William Zabka, and Martin Kove, and they were talking about how the stunt coordinator was the referee in the first one, who fought the urge to just yell at those kids. So he was the stunt coordinator. So he taught them karate before Martin Kove came in.
I think it's a good idea to have him right there, because you can have him in the scene, and he can,
It also
Obviously.
it also gives him the respect.
Yeah, of course. Because they go through a lot of effort, those stunt coordinators in movies. I think it's underappreciated, honestly. Because stunts are a big thing. Stunts and fights are a big thing I appreciate in films, in action films and martial arts movies. And I feel like that kind of goes unnoticed by most people.
Definitely.
On the note of good old Mr. Martin Kove, can we talk about the opening scene with him in his prime?
I loved it.
Oh, with his
I
hands.
I love it. No, it's just him going apeshit. Well, that too. But
He chokes a student out. He
backhands
breaks the
the small
statue.
child.
He backhands the one who was, I don't know if you remember. People will remember maybe. That one scene where I think it's Bobby breaks Daniel's knee. Doesn't break, but elbow drops it. And he's the one that's yelling. It's like, get him a body bag, yeah! And it's like too intense. It does not match the energy. It was scary. So he's just like, come on, Mr. Miyagi's right. Let him go. And then Martin Kove just smacks him.
I did find it funny how easily Martin Kove got taken down by Miyagi. Like, he's got this student in a headlock, and Miyagi just, like, pushes his shoulder and then just
pulls
takes
his
him
arm.
down. Like, wow, you'd put up zero fight in that.
Just no.
he was in full Vietnam mode. He was back. He was back in for that entire opening scene. I will appreciate though.
That was so cool.
I know I love Martin Kove. He's a legend. I saw him recently in a new film where he played another war veteran, was quite good seeing him again. I think that I really like that the opening scene. I was like, using footage from the first movie. I'm wary of that from watching low budget sequels that recycle footage, but I think it worked because they're just recapping it really nicely, and then it just picks up straight after the tournament.
It's what they did back in the day.
movie.
Like they put recaps at the front of sequels.
Yeah, because John G. Avildsen, who directed all 3 Karate Kid films and the first 2 or 3 Rocky movies, you can see the similarities because all Rocky films like start where the last one ended. Besides Rocky 1, obviously. But yeah, having that follow up, like starting the film basically starts in the shower afterwards. I just spilt my water.
Well done.
Oh, no. Great. I'm not going to clean that up. Don't worry. So it starts basically in the shower.
Yeah, jumps straight off it after the other one.
Which
Jump straight into the shower. Yeah.
they might want to have specified that Miyagi was not in the shower at the same time because it was a little bit awkward at first.
That was awkward.
I did find it funny how Daniel was just in the shower, just screaming in there, just yelling at trying to have a conversation with Miyagi. And Miyagi's
Especially
just
with
talking
the guy next to
like
him.
all the guys like, "What are you doing? Just shut up." I'm just trying to have a shower.
He's yelling at his
Hey
teacher.
Miyagi.
Also, I don't know what happened, but oh god, Elizabeth Shue must not wanted to have been in this one because they writ her character off completely.
Yeah, he just
And-
Daniel shows up and he goes,
And they gave her a bad
women,
ending.
and he's like, he's 14 years old. He's like, these women.
Because she crashes
She
his
fell
car.
in love with a football player.
She
She crashed the car and then she dumped him for a football player.
She must have really messed up for them to just destroy her character like that. Like that was just.
Nah,
harsh.
I think they just wanted to go for kind of like a Bond Girl situation where there's a new woman in each movie.
Is there a new woman
Probably.
in Karate Kid 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
But he did the tea ceremony. Doesn't that mean that they're married or something?
It means they're falling in love.
Oh, it
Did you
means
pay
they're
attention?
falling in love.
Jesus.
It was very long. I was kind of getting a bit weary. I did look at my phone
tea
at some
scene-
points.
The tea scene did carry on well into the storm scene, which was I think my favorite part of the film.
The storm scene, my first thought was, did Sato make this? He is literally
Sato made
the
the storm.
embodiment of evil.
Sato is Raiden. Sato should be Raiden in a Mortal Kombat movie.
Like he could not get over himself. Like he would be evil enough to just, I made a storm. I made a weather machine just to destroy the village.
I'm angry enough to make a
I'm
storm.
literally angry enough to do this.
Just to storm over Miyagi.
He screams the entire movie. To be fair, he's very intense.
I thought it was interesting when Miyagi goes to Sato's mansion, and he talks about how it's like the same piece of wood they found, and he hadn't cracked it. But then Miyagi like cracks the wood.
That was a nice touch.
I liked it, but it was also a bit on the nose. It was like, oh, really? You can't move this log at all? You can't move it at all. You have to use karate to chop this log.
I
I
think
thought it was paired well with when they're in the airport and they see the poster of Sato, and
Oh, and he's chopping the log.
Daniel asks him, "Can you do that?" And Miyagi goes, "I don't know. I've never been in a fight with a tree."
That was a good line. That was probably my favorite line
Oh.
in the movie.
He has the best zings.
He does.
Actually,
I-
speaking of lines in the movie, I got to talk about the worst line in the movie, and it's the
ahead.
very last word in the movie. The final word of Karate Kid 2 is honk. That is the last word.
No, I love the honk. The honk is great. Did you miss the honk when Miyagi does it to Martin Cove in the
Yeah,
first
I got
scene?
it, but I didn't like how it was the very final thing. There's this epic fight between these two. It's been building up throughout the whole movie. Daniel's about to kill him, and then honk. Like,
Live or
like,
die,
it's,
man.
it's
That's
a
such a
kid.
good quote.
It's a kids movie. You can't have a one-liner and him just murder Shozen. It's got to be something like.
no, he didn't have to murder him. But I don't know. I just was like, and then it ended, and I'm like, this is, you do realize the last line in your movie is honk.
I don't think that was the last.
It was.
line.
It
Surely
was
they
the
had
last line
something
in the
else.
movie.
Did you
Oh,
make
well,
a note
it's
of
good
a
ending.
specific
Oh,
note of it
yeah.
because you didn't like it?
I thought it was good.
I liked it. But on the note of excuse me, of
Martin.
last
Coe.
lines. No, last lines, and and good old Ralph Macchio. I kind of noticed. I feel like he's a bit of an idiot in this movie more than in the first one.
I feel like they gave him the RoboCop 2 treatment, where they kind of wound back his character a bit.
Yeah, because he says a lot of dumb shit. Like even for like how old is he meant to be? 16? 18?
He's meant to be. Well, he finished senior year, so he's probably meant to be 18.
He looks 25.
I think he probably was. When they filmed Karate Kid 3, I know he was 28.
He looked 16 to me, and he sounded like a 30-year-old. But anyway, he's like, "No, Miyagi, I don't know." When he looks like he's like 16 years old.
No,
But-
when they do Cobra Kai season 5, it's gonna be like Mr. Miyagi, please, no.
Yeah, no, look, but he says a lot of dumb shit. Like even for a kid, or however old he's meant to be, who's never been to Japan, he says a lot of dumb stuff.
But then he reads one book on the plane, and bam, he knows everything.
Even then, he
He's
says
suddenly a
it's,
Japanese expert.
Yeah, he reads
Even though he says a lot
one
of dumb
book.
shit.
One book.
it's a good thing his love interest finds him charming because he's a bit of a dumbass. I'll say that much.
I thought it was an interesting touch having, because in the first one I think it's more noticeable because they don't understand his weird sayings.
Mm.
Like when he talks about, I don't know what he says. He says he's a lone ranger or something, and the girl's just like, I don't know what that means, and he goes, means it's single, and she just goes, ah, cool, yeah, all right, fair enough.
Oh, he
Fair
said
enough.
he says something about being on the road or something, and then she's like,
Yeah.
"We're on the road."
He's like, oh yeah, we'll take it on the road, and she goes, we're already on the road, and he goes, yeah. But then Chosen comes in. Chosen sees them from afar.
Shouldn't just
He's stalking them. He has no life at all.
he's just hiding in bushes every scene that they're together. Just watching them.
I
such a
think
loser.
Chosen was a better character than Johnny Lawrence.
I agree.
I don't know. I
I like-
prefer Johnny Lawrence.
I hate Chosen more, therefore I think he's a better villain.
Just wait until you get to Karate Kid 3,
Oh no.
because there's Mike Barnes and Terry Silver, and oh boy, there's some crackpots. I'll tell you that much. in the continuity, let's talk about that continuity. Very controversial. In the continuity of the Karate Kid films, after Kreese breaks his hands, he somehow dies. He supposedly dies of a heart attack between Karate Kid 2 and Karate Kid 3.
Right.
He fakes his death,
Uh-huh.
I guess,
Oh.
because
I was gonna say, did Miyagi give him the 5-point palm exploding heart technique?
no.
He just dies
I
between
wish.
movies.
I wish. He gets his old friend who he learned Cobra Kai with, Terry Silver, to train Daniel. So then so he passes the information on to Daniel, and Daniel thinks he dies. But then there's a scene in Karate Kid 3 where Kreese reveals himself, and Daniel has the reaction, just, you scared me. But he supposedly died, and I didn't find his reaction to be realistic for seeing someone you thought died. But that's just
I
me.
haven't-
Have
I
you guys
haven't seen Karate Kid. I haven't
3?
seen
I haven't
Karate
seen
Kid
it. No, the first time I've seen this one was with you, and the first time I saw the first one was with you guys, and we watched it together.
We'll have
So-
to do an episode on Karate Kid 3. That's probably not going to be my next pick though. I think I need to do something else.
I think we need more variety. I don't think we should do the same a sequel after sequel every movie, every episode. Sorry.
We only
only
do
review
we
Fast and
we
Furious.
only do the sequels. We never do the originals. That should be
Yeah.
our new thing.
Exactly.
No, it should not be anything. We'll never get anywhere.
So let's talk about composition and framing and all that. How do you guys think it was shot and edited and and mixed and all that?
It looked.
I think
You go.
I think competently, nothing really stood out. Like it looked nice. I love the whole aesthetic of Tommy Village. It looked nice, even if it was in Hawaii. Everything looked good, but nothing really stood out apart from the final fight, and the costuming and the lighting on that scene. Everything else was just fine. I liked it, but it wasn't amazing to me.
I have to agree with you there. It felt just a lot like another movie from the 80s. Like it kind of they've all kind of got the same sort of soundtrack framing, it's in kind of dialogue as well. It all kind of felt very safe.
Again, I don't mind that because I'd rather a safe 80s movie than a safe modern movie in a sense, because I love the way 80s movies do stuff a lot more than how they do now. In general,
Yeah, because
So
you can tie it to the era.
yeah, and it's a lot more fun. And it's a lot more. People don't need to take it like it just has that air. I feel like people take movies really seriously now, but when you look at 80s movies, they go, yeah, not serious at all, which is good and bad because a lot of 80s movies are well aware of that fact and they don't take themselves seriously either. But at the same time, people don't take it seriously enough to enjoy it. They go, that's dumb. It's a dumb 80s movie, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel
No, I
like
agree.
yeah. No, but I think it's solid. It doesn't bore me watching it, any old 80s movie, in general.
Well, in saying that people don't take it seriously, there's the other side of the coin where people say that films don't age well, and they look at films from a certain era, like from the 60s or something, and something that was acceptable back then, they chastise and they hate. Watching it in the current time.
I mean, I get that because whatever that may be, it's not acceptable now. That's fair enough, but you got to understand that it was a norm back then, and you got to look over it for that reason because you can't, if they don't do that, then you go, wow, that's very progressive for the time. That's interesting.
There's nothing in this film that's really like, can't watch this now. Ooh, it did feel
exactly. There's nothing like that.
Bit racy. Yeah, it was very safe.
Yeah, and nothing was overly, about it. Like, it's not like watching an Italian movie and all the male actors just slap all the female actors. I'm like, classic Italy. But no, it's nothing like that. But no, I think, people take stuff too seriously, I think, overall. In film in general, honestly. Like, I understand getting into a movie. I love getting into and having fun with the film. But even to that note, watching what might be considered a bad movie. I watch a lot of what people would say are bad movies, but I take them seriously enough to unironically enjoy them. I don't know. I find the whole ironically enjoying a movie because it's bad thing to be a bit grating. I don't know. It depends on the movie.
Are you not a fan of The Room?
Look, I get that it is funny, and I know I just said the exact opposite of not liking a film unironically. But I think there's a line when you have movies like that are like The Room to that point where just everything is just you can't take it seriously. That's fair enough. But when you're watching them just like any old 80s movie, like say, this is gonna be funny, but Roadhouse, for example.
Roadhouse. Yes.
Roadhouse. People are like, oh, that's such a bad 80s movie. It's just such a terrible movie. It's not. It's an alright movie. It goes over the top, but I think people skim over the fact that a lot of these movies are aware of how over the top they are. They're well aware of it. That I don't think for any moment they're like, super serious, Like there's, like the lines in Roadhouse. Come on, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. I don't think anyone took that seriously when they were writing it. Do you think Patrick Swayze took that seriously?
You never know.
I mean, maybe. For all I know, I wasn't there, but
I mean, people for some reason they thought. Bodyguards and bouncers beating the shit out of people in skinny jeans was cool. Skinny jeans and a tank top and leather boots. They thought that was cool.
Well, that was just the era. That's just what they thought was what was the thing at the time.
Definitely, yeah.
I could disagree. Roadhouse is cool, but maybe because I dress like that anyway. But anyway.
Well, I haven't seen it, so.
Well, you will. Trust me. Maybe I'll do it for my pick.
Definitely. Okay.
I haven't watched it since I was like 14 or something. It's been a very long time.
It's on Netflix, I'm pretty sure. It's great. It's fantastic.
I only know most of my Patrick Swayze films from references in Community,
Family Guy.
Trailer Park Boys, and Family Guy. Family Guy, yeah.
You gotta respect the Swayze.
That's as far as my Swayze extension goes.
That's fair. That's fair. I need to introduce you guys to more Swayze. Point Break and
I've seen
Roadhouse.
Point Break.
Point Break is great. We should do that for
Point
one
Break.
episode
I
for
haven't
sure.
seen Point Break. I've seen
It's great.
Ghost.
Ghost is alright.
I liked it.
I don't normally like those kind of movies, but it's Swayze. I have to watch it.
What about?
You know.
What
I was about to say
Dirty
Dirty Dancing.
Of course, Dirty Dancing is a classic next to Footloose and Flashdance.
I haven't seen Flashdance.
It's alright.
Isn't that the one with the water and the chain?
I believe so.
Okay, cool. Because I know
I think
know,
I haven't
like-
seen it in a while.
I know so many films have ripped that off.
I mean, yeah, because they're all. That's why, because they're all classics. So other things reference it, rip it off, do whatever, you know.
I don't know. I think back to Karate Kid because I know Ralph Macchio's main career was in the 80s and early 90s. With he did The Outsiders with Coppola, and many other famous actors like Rob Lowe, Tom Cruise.
Doesn't he do a lot of directing now? Isn't that his thing?
Does he?
I don't think so. I
I
mean,
could-
when I was
check.
watching The Karate Kid as a kid, my mum was like, "Oh, he's an accountant now," and I'm like, "Oh, cool." And now looking back on it, why? How weird would it be? Just be like, I need someone to help me do my taxes, and you just get the Karate Kid to help.
He's like, hey, I'm Ralph Macchio. I'm your accountant today.
I love Ralph Macchio.
He's directed 3 things: Across Grace Alley, Love Thy Brother, and Ties That Bind. I don't know
I
any
haven't
of
seen,
them.
I haven't seen any of them.
Shout
but
out,
good-
shout out, my homie Ralph.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. We've got another shout out you might want to do this episode, Seb.
We shouted out Alvin.
Yeah, we did Alvin. I'm not talking about Alvin.
You know
Alvin,
who
Alvin.
you've got
We
to
know-
shout out, Seb.
I'm not doing
You
this
have
bit.
to do it.
You are doing
There's
this
a good,
bit. We had this
there's a good
conversation
friend-
many
there's a-
times.
I'm not shouting out Elton John. No.
Yes, you are.
There, I did. I shout out my homie Elton.
I don't think he heard you.
He's not listening. He's not listening.
He could
He's
be.
busy doing
He
his own
could be the
podcast.
one person from. Oh, where did I say it was? Who,
I
I
don't
think he was in
Oh
Bulgaria.
yeah, the
We have a listener in
one
Bulgaria.
person from Bulgaria who listened to the SoundCloud episode.
Shout out to that guy, whoever you are.
Well, I was reading and watching the YouTube analytics, and a lot of people fell off after the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, so basically, if you're still here and hearing this, good on you.
If you're still here and still listening, thank you. We love and respect you. We love and cherish all of you lovely listeners,
All 82 right now.
all 82 of you. But those ones that stuck with us, you're really
Oh, it just went up
Good
because
idea.
I checked. I was on it this morning, like when we logged on. It was at 82, and now it's at 110. Oh,
Not
fresh.
that's
bad.
crazy.
Also, I want to speak again on shout outs. I want to shout out personally my homie Pat Morita, Noriyuki Morita, Mr. Miyagi
Noriyuki Pat
himself.
Morita, pour one out. I
He's
poured
a-
one out. My water bottle fell.
He already did that. He did too early. No, he's a legend. I love him a lot. He's great as Miyagi. I can see why he's such a respected and iconic 80s character. But when I was looking up what else he did, because I swear to God I saw him in something else before Karate Kid, I realized
Happy
he...
Days.
Oh, Happy Days. I haven't seen that. He was in a lot of TV before Karate Kid and after. But to me personally, he was a staple, or almost a staple of my childhood in Bloodsport 2 and 3, alongside Daniel Bernhardt. No one's seen
I'm not
Bloodsport.
familiar
I
with
The
can't
this.
say I
Bloodsport
know.
sequels? Okay, fair enough. They're the 2 good Bloodsport sequels. Don't watch the 4th one. He's in that one. They're quite good. They're quite fun. Not quite as classic as the first. But
He
hey.
was in he was in Baywatch.
Well, knowing 80s and 90s. Wait, Baywatch was 80s. Well, knowing 80s representation of Asian characters, probably wouldn't have aged well.
Probs not, but hey.
Probs not. No.
He was in it from 2000 to 2001. Huh.
It's pretty. That's pretty good. That's a
Fuck, that
fairly
was,
decent run.
I completely missed the ball there.
He was.
You're only off by 2 decades. That's fine.
Oh yeah.
He's in a.
I don't
he's-
check my
He's in
stuff,
a.
that's
He's in a lot
Callum's
of.
job.
He was in SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yes, he was in the
Karate
Karate
Island
episode.
one. Yeah,
I remember
that's
that.
like one of the 3 episodes I've seen.
That's one of the best ones, probably.
I've never watched SpongeBob. I don't get the appeal of it personally.
He seems
know.
to be in just a lot of sort of B class movies. He's like
Because he's a comedian. As
he's
well.
like the Asian version of Christopher Lloyd. Have you seen how many B movies he's in?
Christopher Lloyd
Is
just
this-
shows up in heaps of random stuff. I'm like, it's him.
Just for those and my own sake, is this Doc Brown, Christopher Lloyd?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was in
Oh,
like really like C class, like Food Fight.
oh boy. The JonTron review on Food Fight. Oh boy, the amount of times I've seen that.
Yeah, no, because I think I enjoy that though, because like as I said, I watch a lot of B class, C class movies. You know, Bloodsport 2 and 3, like some of the I don't know if they were direct to video. I think Bloodsport 2 might have had a brief theatrical run. I don't know. But like that era of 90s direct to video martial arts movies, they have a lot of familiar faces, a lot of guys you see who who now are doing big things, or even back then were doing big things and now the reverse. It's fun. I don't know. I like seeing actors who are in big stuff doing smaller stuff now, even if it's not the best movie. I think it's nice seeing them. It's charming to me. But on the note of Bloodsport again, I don't want to derail too much, but Daniel Bernhardt, the star of the Bloodsport sequels and other stuff, he's now doing big things in John Wick and Atomic Blonde, and working with Chad Stahelski and all those guys.
What's he doing?
In the first John Wick, in the nightclub scene, he's the guy who throws John off the balcony.
Oh, the guy who was who John Wick,
guy with the blonde hair.
one guy John Wick couldn't kill.
Yeah, in the first one, he's that guy. And then in Atomic Blonde, the scene where they fight in the room, and she stabs out his eye.
There's quite a few fights in rooms in that movie.
Yeah, that was the one detail.
I
I
really-
haven't seen the film, but I imagine there are a lot of scenes where they fight.
It's
in
not
a
really
room.
worth. It's
I
not
mean,
worth
yeah.
seeing. It's not a great movie.
I think it's worth seeing. It's stylish. It's fun. The fights are exhausting in the best
I
possible
found
way.
the whole film was very stylish, and the soundtrack had some absolute slappers in it. But
Oh, they did
it
for
just
sure.
felt like, come on, just do
Well,
your
It's
thing.
based off a comic book.
Oh, it was based off a comic book.
So-
Okay.
Yeah, or graphic novel. I don't know. I haven't read it, but I liked it. I thought it was
I
cool.
think a graphic novel, if I remember.
Do you think that
Might have been,
Karate
yeah.
Kid 2 can be classed as a B movie?
No, I
No,
don't
because
think
it was
so.
from a major studio.
Yeah, but that just
think
doesn't really
the-
define a B movie.
I think
I think it does.
there's cases like I think we brought this up last episode, but I think there's cases where, like, a movie from a big studio is a B movie in an A movie, but A movie's shoes, you know.
Mm.
And I think I wouldn't say Karate Kid's one of those cases. Maybe the fourth one, perhaps, or the third one. I don't know. But I think for the first two at least, they're definitely, apart from the fact that they're 80s classics, I still think they're A movies. I don't think they're anywhere close to being B movies in any way, personally.
Okay.
I agree.
I would be inclined to agree as well.
In comparison to, because I know I make this comparison a lot between the Rocky franchise and this, I'd say in terms of comparison, Karate Kid 2 is essentially Rocky 4 because they go international. There's a stronger villain who beats the shit out of him. There's a lot of honor and patriotism for the individual countries. I think the scale and the direction was very similar in comparison, but seeing where Stallone went because he directed Rocky 4 and where Avildsen went in Karate Kid 2, you can clearly tell there was more effort and more writing put in comparison, because Rocky 4 notorious for being only montages.
I
think Rocky
4 so much.
it's the only one I've seen besides the Creed movies, and I adored it.
Yeah, it's it is.
I think it's even
when
more
people-
80s than Karate Kid.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think Rocky 4 is what everyone thinks the 80s movies are, because of all the like the homages and and like jokes we get now about that. Like the whole 80s Renaissance thing that is in full swing at the moment and has been for quite a while recently, which I adore, by the way, because I love 80s movies. I'm right at home with all the, like, all the stuff paying tribute to that now. I think Rocky 4 is probably one of, if not the prime example of what most people might think the 80s were. Because that movie is amazing. I love the amount of montages. I love the soundtrack. I love how ridiculous and over the top it is. It's fantastic. It's beautiful.
The best soundtrack out of all of them, probably.
Yeah. As iconic as the Rocky theme might be, and the whole Philadelphia Steps thing, I'm sorry, Rocky 4 has a beat for me. It's just pure 80s. The rawest form of 80s I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of 80s movies.
I could probably agree with that as well. Yeah, definitely.
It's great.
But I think we had a discussion a while ago about the 88 films and the rip-offs of most, Escape from New York, Karate Kid, I think it's called.
Karate Warrior is the Italian
Karate
rip-off.
Warrior.
And there were 5 or 6 of them, I believe.
So they made more rip-off movies than the actual Karate Kid movies that were made.
Oh, yeah. Because either copyright laws were lax, or Italy just didn't give a shit, or both.
I'd suppose go with both.
Yeah, probably both. But no, Italy love ripping off big American things. Anything that came out in America that was popular in Italy, you kind of steered Italian genre films in a certain direction for a while. Because towards the tail end of the spaghetti westerns, which were all great. I love spaghetti. I love all of it. Italian genre cinema. Actually, I can't say that. Towards the tail end of that, when popularity was dying in Rome, Death Wish and Dirty Harry came out, and there was quite a lot of crime in Italy at the time, and the public were quite pissed off, and they wanted sort of, an out for that. So then those movies came out, and they were huge hits. So because they're taking out their frustrations and watching a character beat the shit out of criminals.
I was thinking that we should do an episode on all of the Death Wish movies.
We could do that. I'm happy to do that.
Because I think there's 6 of them or 5 of them.
There's 6 of them
We could do-
including Eli Roth remake.
All 6 Death Wish movies.
We could do that. I know enough about them to carry on the conversation, I guess.
I will have to watch all 6.
I've
I'll put
only
it this
seen
way.
the remake.
I'll put it this way: the first 2 are the Rockies. The third one is Rocky 4, and then beyond that, it gets a bit crazy.
Are
and then
these all Bronson?
All Bronson except for remake with Willis.
With Bruce Willis.
I quite liked it. Did you like the remake?
I did. I saw it in cinemas. I thought Roth was very respectful of the original, and Bruce Willis woke up for once to do a performance. I think he was solid. It's a different Paul Kersey to the one in the Bronson movies, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Would you say his performance matched his performance in Unbreakable?
I couldn't tell you that because I don't remember enough of Unbreakable to tell
Pretty
you.
much,
I
does he
have,
sleep?
but-
I'm pretty sure he sleeps through Unbreakable.
Look, 80s,
He
90s
slept
is
through
Bruce Willis's
glass.
prime.
I know that definitely.
Yeah, that's how he drowned in public.
I think one episode we have
remember-
to do Die Hard. Definitely Die Hard.
Oh yeah.
for sure.
I
fantastic.
remember seeing Glass in the theaters with my close friend, and I was very upset walking out of that.
I loved Split a lot, so I was keen to hear that he was gonna bring up,
He was going to
gonna
do
do
an
this.
Endgame, essentially.
He's gonna do his end game, and then the movie came out, and I didn't hear anything for a while. I was like, oh, interesting. I might go see it. And then I heard a couple of reviews, and I was like, oh no, he's gone back. He's done a 180 again.
It's almost like there was a twist for each Shyamalan movie that he made, because
The
there
twist was
was
that
I think it counted about four or five
The
twists.
twist wasn't was shit.
There was twist after twist. After
Was the twist was the twist that Bruce Willis just got drowned in a puddle? Was that one of the twists?
No, there was this whole C plot, because there's A and B. M. Night Shyamalan somehow made a C plot, but fit it only into the last 2 minutes, where there's some secret society.
As
that
only M.
hunt
Night could.
the superheroes Only M Night could. Yeah, exactly.
That sounds cool. I would have enjoyed that for the entire runtime of the movie.
If that was in there.
Yeah.
Supposedly he woved it here and there, and it's like, oh, symbolism, but I don't have the want. What the hell is going on outside? I don't have the want to watch it again, so I will not be studying that. Thank you, M Night,
We're not doing
after
glass.
what you did for every film, including The Last Airbender, which was a turd. Oh boy, was that a turd!
I think I hate out of all these films. I hate The Visit the most, just because of that kid rapping. The ones with the kid rapping made me want to punch my TV and then slit my wrists.
Why is the rapping kid Jesus? First off, why was the rapping kid such a meme?
Because cringy children irritate me to to the nth degree.
Do it for the children. I remember watching a review on it, probably YMS, where they keep all the diapers under the house.
I don't recall that. I don't think that was YMS's. I think it's someone else's, but I don't
Might have
remember. Because I've only seen YMS's review on it, and that was enough to make me want to watch it.
But is it that movie where they keep all the shitty diapers under the house?
I would guess so.
In comparison to, like if you compare Glass to like the old classic movies like Karate Kid 2 and stuff, you can really see how like plot structure has changed over the years.
Taking it back.
Yeah, I am.
Taking it back to the topic. We've gone so far off topic.
But don't you think? Isn't it interesting
fine.
to see how much like a standard plot has changed over the years? Like Karate Kid 2 is like
I don't think a standard plot is what went wrong with Split.
I'm not
and
saying I'm not talking
I
about what
think
went wrong. I'm talking about just how there's a general thing of like having multiple plot threads. But then in Karate Kid 2, it's like
Yeah.
they go to Japan, there's honor, and then there's a fight.
I
There's
think
usually the love interest is like the B plot,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah.
M Night Shyamalan did not follow the 3-act structure, which every film does.
I don't think you have to follow the 3-act structure either. I think it's just M Night. Well, I don't know what M Night's thinking or what he's doing, but
There's
don't
also
know.
there's
I
also the
couldn't tell you.
5-act structure.
I don't think we
Ah,
can get
yes,
into that
yes,
yet.
I'm familiar with that one. Okay,
But, like-
so okay, go on, Evan. Sorry.
My point is, I think that I don't know if people expect it, but I think movies now overcomplicate themselves too much, to the point where if you see a movie that doesn't overcomplicate itself and is just a simple, straightforward story told the way Karate Kid 2 or whatever other movie back in the day might have been, it's refreshing to see that now, because you watch so many overcomplicated, big studio movies now, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And, you know, nothing really stands out in the majority of them to me. But then you watch something that's either an indie movie that does a similar thing, or just a lower budget studio film that's an homage to 80s stuff, or whatever it may be, or just an 80s movie. And it's so much simpler, straightforward, doesn't take itself seriously, it's fun, it's got a bit more effort put into it in terms of certain things. Like, yeah, they can pump as much money as you want, but you can tell when people are putting their heart and soul into a movie and when they're not.
Definitely. That's why Tarantino, I think, has such a good track record.
Yeah, exactly, because that guy lives and breathes cinema. I love him.
That guy can talk. Dear Lord,
It's
that
the same
man
with
can talk.
same with
He can
same with
talk.
Wes Anderson movies. Every single person you can tell is loving working on a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
He pays a lot of attention to detail.
He does. But and like, you know, you can tell when he loves movies. The guy loves movies. Whether you love or hate him or love or hate his movies, I love how excited he gets talking about films that he likes, which is most movies.
It's like Elon
like-
Musk talking about video games.
Pretty much. It's just it's fun. It's exciting. On that note, I watched a video recently. I don't know what channel it was on. Some music focused channel, and they had Henry Rollins on unboxing a limited edition vinyl set of the Stooges Funhouse album, and that man who is very tall, covered in tattoos, looks very scary. He's very large, and he's acting like a child, and it's adorable. I just want to point that out. If you just look up Henry Rollins unboxing vinyl, it's adorable. Just 'cause
Okay.
it's
So-
a bit of a side note. I'm sorry, I had to
Bit
bring
of a
it up.
side note. No, it's okay. Dear friend Arvin, he loves our side notes. Arvin,
Oh,
if you're
we know.
listening, big chief, we love you. So we should wrap this up because we've hit 50
We've got
minutes.
we've,
Final takes.
Oh, well, we've got
What, sorry?
10 more minutes. What film are we thinking of doing next week? Whose turn is it to pick?
I think it's
Evan's
my
pick.
pick next week. I haven't decided yet, but
We'll pick.
I
We'll
I
pick
know that
sometime this week.
I know that you guys have been staying towards the mainstream of 80s. But I'm thinking I might take you guys on a bit of a ride.
Are we jumping off the deep end?
You're jumping off the deep end into somewhere you may not want to go. Perhaps. That's okay. It won't be Cannibal Holocaust. It's fine. I won't
Thank
do
you.
that to you.
Thank
I
you.
won't
Cannibal
do that to you.
Holocaust or Exorcist 3?
Oh no, Exorcist 3 I'm saving to watch with you with the lights on. That's okay.
Okay, good. Good. I'm glad you respect my wishes.
I won't make you watch that on your own. It's okay.
Oh, I hate horror. I can't do horror.
It's fine. It's all right.
Do you have any ideas potentially?
I'm thinking I won't go too obscure. I might stay in the 80s. I might do something. I am planning on starting my own channel where I talk about the kinds of movies that I dig a lot more. Because like Tarantino, I sure do love to talk about
I'm
him.
sure we can. I'm sure we can
as you
add a
go-
link to that in the description for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll put that in bio.
I mean, there's probably nothing on it by the time this episode goes up.
If you
but,
want me to plug it, Evan, I can put it in there.
Sure, we can do that. I suppose. I've called the channel Revenge of the Grindhouse. I'm sure you might be able to find it. There's nothing on it. No subscribers as of yet. But hey,
I'll
You
link it anyway.
fair enough. Yeah. So I think my picks might be something I might not cover on my channel personally, just so I can have a bit of variety in what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Cool.
perhaps.
Cool.
But yeah, I might go somewhere a little bit off. Maybe one of my favorite, slightly more obscure 80s films, perhaps.
Street trash.
I think Street Trash I might save for a movie night movie with you guys. That's a bit of a
Maybe
a fun
we'll
watch.
Anyway,
That's a fun drunk watch.
final 8 minutes. Let's do final takes. Evan, what do you think?
I liked it a lot. As I said at the start, I liked it a lot more than the first. It kind of dragged, I suppose, but I love the callbacks to the original. I love what they brought up in this one. I love the way the plot went. I love the development of the characters. I think if Karate Kid 3 didn't exist, I'd be happy with the way this ended, to be honest.
How many bonsais would you give it out of 10 bonsais?
I see, because I don't know, because I don't normally watch kids movies or movies that are appropriate for kids, but given it's an 80s movie, I got to give it an exception. But I think my leanings towards R-rated martial arts movies left me somewhat disappointed by the lack of fights in it, I guess. That being said, I did enjoy what was there, so I think maybe 7.5, maybe 8 bonsais out of 10, perhaps.
Interesting. Callum? what do you think?
I'm not really a big. I'm almost the opposite of Evan. I'm not a massive R-rated movie fan. I kind of more like sort of quirky movies, I guess. So I'm not a massive fighting movie guy. But I did enjoy it. But I did find the pacing a little bit slow at points, and then I wanted more of a satisfying conclusion at the end. Yeah, but it was good for what it was. Very, good acting, good everything. There was nothing. There wasn't anything bad about it, besides pacing and that. There wasn't like acting, and you can't go, "Damn, you're a bad actor." There was no point where you could say that. So I think I would give it maybe 6 crane kicks out of 10.
6 failed crane kicks.
No, 6 successful crane kicks. The other 4
successful
crane
crane
kicks,
kicks.
failed crane kicks, where they get
Blocked by
blocked.
Chosen.
Yeah.
The other 4 was Daniel getting kicked in the nuts.
I'm a huge fan of American Western cinema and classic 80s blockbusters, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, all that. So seeing this, because it's definitely something from my childhood, I enjoyed watching it again. I've probably seen this movie, I'd say 5 or 6 times. So watching it again was kind of just a refresher. That's why I didn't take any notes. But I thought it was framed well, was written well for a sequel. I think it definitely held up. It definitely passed the sequel test. In some arguments, I'd say it's better than the first one, on par with Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight, respectively. I'm not saying up to that level.
I think that's a pretty unfair comparison.
Yeah, I'm saying for their respective franchise. Shut up. Anyway, so I'm gonna give it 8 bonsais out of 10, or in my own ranking systems, 8 Daniel being kicked in the stomach and keeling overs out of 10. Well, that's been Rewind Rental episode 2. Thank you for listening. We respect those and love those who have stuck with us and those who listened for the first 5 minutes. I've been Seb, joined by Evan and Callum.
Thank you.
Tuning out. Thank
You don't want to plug anything?
I don't have anything to plug. Oh shit. Follow Rewind Rental podcast
On Instagram and if
On
you
Instagram,
still use if you're under the age of 60, we have
65.
we have there's a thing called Facebook, and we have that. No one uses it anymore.
What's your Facebook?
Shouldn't it be the other way around? All the
we have-
youths.
Oh yeah,
OMG,
whatever.
like, what is a Facebook?
So we've got Facebook, Instagram. I don't know if we have Twitter.
can-
Probably. Do we have Twitter?
I do.
Callum?
Actually, no, I don't. I deleted it. But
Okay.
and also
So for the show,
if you want to send us an email, you can hit us up at
I'll pull it in,
rentalrewind.biz@gmail.com.
Yeah, I stuffed that up. So rentalrewind.biz@gmail.com, or DM us on Instagram. Our DMs are open. If you have any potential ideas.
And those
One more
usernames would be.
Rewind Rental podcast.
You can also
Don't DM me. Don't DM me on my private account. I won't respond.
Also, one more thing. We are also on Spotify and iTunes Store, I
we're
believe.
still waiting for approval on that. They said five
Okay,
to
well, we're on-
10 business days.
Well, we're on Spotify at least, so if you'd rather listen to us
We're on Spotify and SoundCloud.
instead of watch our little YouTube animation of our voices, if you'd rather listen to us on Spotify while you're I don't
Gardening,
know, going to work,
Go for a walk.
gardening, doing whatever
watching
you want.
movies.
Yeah, maybe not listen to us while watching movies.
No,
It'd be a bit
no,
distracting.
do. You
But,
have to.
No, do not do that. Okay.
Open
Well,
5
thank
tabs
you.
of us at once.
I think that's all we've plugged. Let's wrap this up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good day and good night.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.